Are you ready for the Low Blows Network? Every Wednesday on the Low Blows Network, the Low Blows team are at hand to break down, analyze, and make fun of all things pro wrestling. Hosted by former pro wrestler Rick Nash. I think the only reasonable thing we can do now is turn John Cena heel.
Selfie with me, fucking Doug.
Banned from Nigeria. I will be talking to the government tomorrow morning. YouTube star Corporate King.
This elephant has 4 legs. Joe Russell's 4 legs. Joseph Stalin, if he had 2 more legs.
Bonesaw rips off his shirt, yeah, and it says, "Chuck your law, big dirty tricolor."
And the Queen of Irish Wrestling, Katie Harvey.
I won't want to sign just CM Punk.
So embarrassed. CM Punk.
It's Low Blows.
Rebecca Verdi was caught rapid by Colleen Rooney last week. Just only last night, actually, for selling stories about her to the Sun. If you haven't seen this, it was actually gas. And I'm not like one for following wags or anything like that. I couldn't give a rat's about any of this, to be honest. I didn't even know it's Jamie Verdi's wife, right?
I assume so. Yeah.
It'd be weird if it wasn't, like, like if it was just someone randomly named Verdi. But I don't follow any of these. But like, yeah, this is hilarious. Have you seen this?
Oh yeah, of course. I follow Colleen Rooney.
Oh right, there we go.
I've read her autobiography. It was riveting.
Oh God, I hate you.
Yeah, I'm that person that buys wags autobiographies.
So yeah, a lot of people will know that. We're not breaking news here. Basically, Colleen put out she hid her story from everyone because she suspected that someone was doing this, and she hid her story from everyone and then put out fake news on her Instagram story and then saw it appear in the Sun later. And then the person that she hadn't hid it from, the only person, was Rebecca Verdi. So there's no kind of coming back. Rebecca Verdi, to be fair, she did try to get herself out of jail and be like, "Oh, I've been totes hacked, saws, bebs," after all that. But like, yeah, it was fascinating, and a lot of crap. And there has been a lot of crap this week in wrestling, and a lot of stuff we have to discuss. But as we get kicked off here on another edition of Low Blows, Rick Nash, Katie Harvey, and Corporate King back in the house as always. Guys, what is the best example of gossiping gone wrong in wrestling that you can think of?
I'm not gonna lie, I've been on Twitter all day, so I only thought about this briefly. And the first thing that popped in my head, I guess, is when Shawn Michaels implied about the sunny days of Bret Hart years ago, like alleging that Bret and Sonny were having an affair, when I don't know if Shawn was having an affair with her at the time or it was shortly afterwards, but like he was gossiping this about Bret, and like it just didn't really go anywhere, did it? It was just like awkward on-air gossip, and then like it just caused a lot of tension backstage, but like I don't think it had the desired effect on air.
Yeah, no, I don't think anyone got it. I think people are just like, what sunny days? Like,
yeah,
and now it's gone down in lore, but I'd say it was just an awkward promo. I didn't watch it at the time, so I don't remember the actual promo, like how it would have landed at the time. And there would there have been an internet back then for it to...
No, like that's it. Like that's why I think it would have backfired. He probably thought he was being really like wink and nudge clever, a subtweet almost.
Subtweeted Bret Hart.
Subtweeted Bret Hart.
Before there was a Twitter. Oh, what a glorious day that would have been before Twitter.
And he probably thought everything was going to kick off, but like nothing did. Just like bit of backstage tension.
Well, like, the Montreal Screwjob like happened and changed wrestling a few months later. So like...
yeah, but shit, it was because of that.
Yeah, like it kind of went somewhere.
that didn't backfire at all. That played out exactly how we wanted it to.
Changed wrestling forever, like.
Yeah. I'll get off Twitter and think about this more next week.
Corporate King, examples of gossiping gone wrong in wrestling.
The anonymous Raw GM.
Is that gossip?
That's the other question. I didn't actually look at this one. I did. I looked at it and I genuinely could not come up with an answer. I don't actually know what even lines I'm meant to be thinking on. I don't even know what you're talking about. I gotta be honest. I genuinely don't even know where to start. Like, what? Can you give me an example?
Just Joe, I thought of.
What?
Do you remember? Not just Joe.
Joey Legend?
Yeah.
Ah.
Just Joe. That was like his entire thing was that he was he was gossiping. He's like, did you hear what Goldust said about you? And then he was just going around shit stirring and then just disappeared forever.
Fun fact, I had a massive, I mean fucking massive, almost half the wall was taken up with a huge signed Joey Legend poster in my bedroom. Just because like, I met him like at AWR and he just signed it. I was like, oh, this guy's probably like a massive star. And like, yeah.
Did you know he has the best piece of merchandise in wrestling?
What was it?
So he worked for PWU, and I was standing by the merch stand, and I was handed a book, and I have a look at that because this is Joe's merch. What do you think of it? It was a porno. It was a porn book that he'd written and was selling at the merch table.
Oh my God!
At Kid Show.
We're stopping Low Blows right here, right now. We're changing the podcast. Just Joe wrote a porno starting next week on the Low Blows Network. We're doing that. We need that book. Amazing, guys. Like a lot happened in wrestling this week, and this is how we're starting it. Just Joe wrote a porno. To be fair, is there anyone out there who doesn't want to hear that more than our thoughts about the Hell in a Cell ending? But like we are going to discuss it. There's so much. The Wednesday Night Wars got underway. Hell in a Cell got people talking. We're going to discuss it all. It feels like about a month of wrestling has happened over the past week, and we're going to try to distill it into one cohesive podcast. And there's also been there's stuff happening on Twitter too. We'll see about that. Anyway, guys, it's time to get started on the show, as we always do, by discussing the news stories of the week that have grabbed our attention and giving our lightning hot takes on them. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for
Hot Takes.
Hot Takes, beginning with Corporate Cain. What's got your eye this week?
Oh, yeah.
Have you prepared at all?
No.
Have you just thought about the draft we're going to do on Ask Low Blows?
Yeah. So mine is very, so obviously, okay, so look, there's a lot of stuff happening on Twitter, as you say, and my hot take obviously has nothing to do with that. It's very anticlimactic. There's not really much to it. In case you're unaware, wrestling has turned into the Game of Thrones in a way.
Yeah.
I said it like a the Game of Thrones. You watching the Game of Thrones lately?
Are you watching the AEW?
But yeah, so Battle of the Seven Kingdoms, yeah? WWE, AEW, New Japan, Ring of Honor, Impact, MLW, and NWA. It's going fucking mad.
You're
And I'm
stretching
saying,
there,
hey, no, stretching there. No stretching there. So, it's a Battle of the Seven Kingdoms, and I'm seeing a lot of this is all obviously the main catalyst for this is AEW, and I'm seeing a lot of people saying don't pick sides, you know, love everything, enjoy it and have fun with it, but you know, like, don't pick sides and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, I agree with the sentiment, you know what I mean? You shouldn't be like, oh, I hope this company goes out of business or that company goes out of business, but like, yeah, you can pick sides. Picking sides is fun. I want to come in here with like an NWA t-shirt on because that's the side I'm on. Team NWA. And I want Rick to have like an AEW shirt and I want Kay to have an NXT shirt. And I'm going to come in and be like, fuck both yous, Team NWA. And that's like, and it's fun, you know what I mean? Like, and this, I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, you know, you shouldn't wish for another company to go out of business. I haven't really seen anybody wish that a company goes out of business. I've seen people complain about people saying it. I've never actually seen people saying it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's fun to be like picking sides. My hot take is that you can pick sides if you want. And my side is, well, I don't know, because Eric Rowan obviously is WWE, do you know what I mean? But I'll get to NWA later. It's deadly. Yeah. I
resent you putting me in the AEW camp because I'm one of these. I don't have a side. I'm just naturally like I'm like I just want to sit back and enjoy it all. I like the digs on Twitter. I don't want to alienate myself from anyone because what if AEW if I go out and say I'm Team NXT or I'm Team Raw and then like AEW as a class match, and then I'm backed into the corner where I have to be like John Moxley versus Kenny Omega wasn't class actually, but like
Stay loyal to your team. This is the point. It's a gang now. It's a gang warfare. I'm in the team. I'm in the NWA gang. Nick Aldis versus Tim Storm, banger. Better than Omega Okada. And because
relax,
that's
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
But it's fun, is what I'm saying. It's a laugh. As long as you don't take it too seriously, pick sides. It's funny.
Do you know who I don't want to be?
Who?
The AEW fans. Like, what? I don't want to be the AEW diehards, and like
the fuck WWE's.
It's just if I have to, and we're gonna start hearing it now. If I have to hear the phrase Saudi blood money, if I have to hear that one more fucking time, like it's fucking annoying. And it's just like, as well as someone who like is kind of in the middle, I'm like, I don't like the Saudi Arabia stuff. We cancelled the party last year because we didn't want to like do something around the Saudi Arabia stuff. I'm not into it, but like I'm still gonna watch Raw and I'm still gonna watch NXT. And if I like something, I'm gonna like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm still gonna follow. I'm not gonna not follow wrestling because of that. But like, I hate the fucking moralizing of them where they're just like, you're gonna bathe in the blood money, are you? You're gonna bathe in the Saudi blood money, are you? And it's just like, no, stop. It's just like turning liking something into. Actually, do you know what? This actually ties into my hot take.
Wait.
Go
But
ahead.
do you know what? Do you know who wouldn't use Saudi Arabian blood money? The NWA. The NWA. Nick Aldis versus Tim Storm was blood money free. Beautiful. Atlanta, Georgia, I think it was. Was that where it was filmed? I think it was. So, I mean, no blood money there. You should be on Team NWA, but obviously you're not. That's fine. Whatever. I'm on Team NWA.
We'll continue this because it does tie into my hot take. So moving on. Right, yeah, like this bothers me. Okay, last week the first Wednesday Night War, and I really enjoyed it. It's fantastic entertainment. I can't wait. I'm off work next Thursday, so my plan already is to we tape the show every Wednesday evening, and then go home, and I'm gonna stay up and watch the two at the same time, like flick back and forth between the two. Like I can't wait for it because it's gonna be class. So I'm really into it, and like we'll get to the discussion about the show, but like this is something that's really annoying me already, and this is like actually putting me off AEW a bit. Like, just the hypocrisy that's shown between, like, when it comes to, say, like, Jack Swagger debuted the other week. You know what I mean? And it's like, for example, NXT, I thought, like, as far as, like, surprises go, I think NXT won. Personally, for me, I'm going to pick Finn Balor and Ciampa ahead of, like, Jack Swagger. No offense, like, I've nothing against the guy.
Is that even close?
Yeah, I know, exactly. Well, here's the thing, like, when you talk to AEW diehards, they just gaslight and pretend that, like, nothing happened in WWE and nothing good happened, and Matt Riddle and Adam Cole, well, why would you watch that when there's a perfectly shite Cody match to watch, you know what I mean?
Hey!
What?
I love that match.
No, but hang on, do they say that though?
But no, they're like talking about Jack Swagger as this is what bothers me, alright? And you'll appreciate this. Jack Swagger was on Lucha Underground last year, okay?
The only reason I like him. The only reason I'm buzzing.
And was used really well. I saw bits of it too, and I really enjoyed him there. But when that happened, the word on Jack Swagger was he was a punchline to show how far Lucha Underground had fallen. Now that he's in AEW, it's like Jack Swagger is the savior of wrestling. AEW, they've done it again. They have Jack Swagger here. Oh my God, this is amazing. And it's like, you're just saying because you're on that side and you want to believe that everything that side does is the best thing ever, and you're just ignoring that, like, you know, Finn Balor on NXT, that's cool. That's a cool moment. Ciampa on NXT, that's a cool moment. So I guess I'm kind of disagreeing with you. I didn't go into it intending to disagree, but that's what bothers me when I see, like, just kind of the gaslighting going on, where it's like this. Lads, Jack fucking Swagger. And it's just like, he was on TV last year and you couldn't have given a rat.
But that's funny.
That company that he was the champion of went out of business, like, because he didn't want. No, but he was really good. I'm on your side here. He was really good.
I would be Team Lucha Underground if they're still around.
Yeah, but he was really good and nobody gave a shit. But now that he's on AEW, we're just going to pretend that he's great. Again, I'm not going against Cody or anything like that. I'm not going against it, but, like, again, we're just pretending that, like, Cody is this, like, amazing wrestler now, and he's this, like, you know, this, like, 5-star every match he has, he's fantastic. He's grand, but also, he's also the exact same as Triple H. Like, he's the exact same. He's a guy who gives himself big entrances and books himself in the main event when nobody in particular has asked for him to be in the main event. You don't believe me? What's the main event of the next pay-per-view? Cody wrestling for the World Championship.
Is it?
Yeah, Cody against Chris Jericho.
I'm actually real into that.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough, but, like, it's like we're just kind of acting like he's not the exact same as Triple H and every other guy who's wrestled for a big company and been a booker at the same time and booked himself in favourable positions, and we're saying this is something new. It's not new. It's like, it's been done before and we've seen it. And to talk to some of these people is just like, it bothers me and puts me off AEW, where I'm not actually put off by their actual product. Do you know what I mean? I'm not put off them. I enjoy the show, but then I go online and see the discourse, and I'm like, that's not what happened. That's not what I saw. That's not what I experienced. Anyway, that's my take. Katie, we haven't really got to you. What side are you on?
Oh, I see. The last side I took was WCW, and we all know how that turned out. So I'm reluctant to pick a side because
NWA were around back then.
But you know what? I can see myself. Right, I have an obsessive personality. When I like something, I love it. Like, I'm sitting here wearing a Riverdale t-shirt right now because the season premiere is on tonight. Like, that's the person you're dealing with. I can see myself becoming an AEW diehard from one episode because I stayed up to watch it live last week. I haven't stayed up to watch WWE live in a long time, right? And I turned it on, and like, it was wrestling on TNT, and Tony Schiavone was commentating, and I was like, this is me. Like, this is me. I'm hooked. This is what I like right now.
Nice.
No, but I am going to watch everything. But like, I am going to enjoy everything. But I can probably see myself leaning to one side eventually. I think it's just human nature. Like, I love a good mob mentality. Love a good cult.
I think, like, some week we should come in and actually just pick sides and just, like, go to war. Like, I'll be WWE, you be AEW, and Cain be NWA. Like, next week on Low Blows, we're gonna pick sides, and we're gonna just, like, we're gonna be the fan. It's satire. We're not gonna be ourselves. We're gonna speak with the voices of the diehard fans. So you're gonna be Jim Cornette for the week. I'm gonna be like the WWE apologist, and you're gonna be the AEW head.
Okay.
Does that sound like a fair deal?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, we're gonna do a gimmick show. There we go. That's what I'll be watching on Wednesday. Am I right? Anyway, moving on. This is what we'd all been waiting for. Go for it. Harvey's hot take.
So this is less of a hot take and a more of an open discussion.
Okay.
A lukewarm, dipping the toe in, just seeing what comes out of my mouth.
You always start that way and it never ends that way.
Yeah. That's why I'm really worried. Twitter was a bit crazy today.
Dearest Twitter.
So let's see, are we naming names? Are we going into specifics?
Yeah.
All right.
You don't have to.
Let me decide for you.
Don't let Keane decide your career.
I actually thought that was my conscience for a second.
Oh, God.
No, I'm like the devil on the shoulder. You know?
Keane on your shoulder.
No, yeah.
Fuck it, do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a wrestler who has done something in his past, and that is public knowledge now. Mm-hmm. There is a group of fans who are very vocal on Twitter about not liking this wrestler because of his past. Mm-hmm. There are other wrestlers who are defending him. Not his actions. I want to make that very clear. They're not defending his actions, but they're defending his right to not be spoken about so harshly. Mm-hmm. And some of the comments that have been directed to him, they've said that's not okay, that's unacceptable, blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. I haven't
no,
backed myself into a corner there.
No, but also I think if you don't know the story, you understand, you know what I mean, and you can find out more if you want online. You can go looking yourself, but you get the context.
Yeah, it's not my place to be naming names and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, bringing all dirt like.
But I want to just be the devil's advocate in this conversation because I do genuinely see both sides, because the line that has been drawn today seems to be between fans and wrestlers. Mm-hmm. I think that's safe to say, isn't it?
All right.
The fans are very much like, we don't want that performer on the show because we don't agree with his past history. Whereas the wrestlers are like, well, that's a person at the end of these insults and tweets. That's someone who we share a locker room with who doesn't necessarily deserve this level of abuse because of that thing that you know. I can see both sides, because on one hand, I seen one very good tweet today that was like, I shouldn't have to be at a show and be uncomfortable with someone's actions, especially if I've experienced that in my real life. Right. And I totally get that.
That's fair too.
A lot of things are very triggering for people, and they will trigger people in different way, and I completely respect that. Because I've been in that situation as a wrestler where I've had to share a locker room with people who I don't agree with their past. I don't agree with things they've done. And it's been my choice whether, okay, do I do the show and just stay away from them? Do I not do the show as a form of protest? And, you know, I think it's up to you. If you're comfortable attending the show, if not, whatever. I don't know if I necessarily agree that Twitter is the avenue to voice this, though. I think maybe get in touch with the promoter. If you're genuinely that uncomfortable with having that person on the show, get in touch with the promoter where something can be done. Whereas when you create that mob mentality around someone, even if you don't agree with them and even if what they've done is bad, it's still a person at the other end. You still don't have 100% of the facts.
Yeah.
And I hate this whataboutism, but also he's a target because you know his story, okay? When really there's people you like and in the locker room that have done things very similar or, you know, on the same par. But
not
because
to start. We're not
yeah,
saying
no,
that.
I'm not saying that. It's just you don't know everyone's history.
Yeah,
so because
you
know one person's doesn't mean it's
you're right.
Very hard to say.
It's a very good point what you're saying, but like I just want to be conscious that like don't start a witch hunt over this.
I'm not
That's
accusing,
not what you're saying.
I'm not accusing anyone of anything. And like I've shared probably locker rooms with thousands of wrestlers at this stage, you know. Not everyone's a saint in the locker room. Yeah. Everyone has skeletons in their closet. Even in the fans, everyone's got skeletons in their closet. Something they're not proud of, some worse than others. And like we're very mental health aware these days. So I think that needs to be taken into consideration when we're dealing with these kind of issues, you know. And on both sides, both the fans shouldn't be put in comfortable positions, having to watch someone they don't agree with, you know, and just people shouldn't be targeted either. I just think Twitter is the wrong place for all this. Yeah. And like on one hand, I've been like glued to my Twitter watching all these jokes, memes, reactions, all the rest of it. But on the other hand, I'm like, this is literally doing nobody any good. Yeah. Because there's fans now who are saying that their entire wrestling experience has been tainted and is now feeling negative. There's wrestlers saying, well, this section of fans, you know, I don't agree with them. And like, it shouldn't be that antagonistic between wrestlers and fans. And I'm just worried that Twitter is going to just kind of ruin show experience for everyone. Yeah. And it's just going to escalate to something that doesn't need to be, when maybe people should be talking directly to each other instead of bringing everything to Twitter. Yeah,
you absolutely, a difficult topic. So well done. You absolutely nailed it. Spot on. You're right in what you say, that Twitter isn't the way. And the way discourse happens on Twitter as well is like, it's very immediate. It's like reactionary. It's like saying things in maybe the worst possible way. Like what you have to be conscious of as well is look at the consequences of what could happen. Look at the worst case scenario. Of what can come of like you making fun of these people, because as well, like if it's Irish Twitter, it's a very small community, so you have to assume that when you tweet something, like assume that person is going to read it, you know what I mean? And whether you're okay with that or not, consider that, like, play it out to the worst possible scenario there. Would you then still be okay? Would you be glad that you did it that, you know what I mean? Would you be happy with that? Think about that as well, because that's realistic, because again, you get one bit of information, and you're so right with what you say, where, like, again, you don't know everyone's history, but you get one bit of information and you decide that that's enough, but you don't know if there have been other concurrent bits of information in the meantime that may change your view on it. You don't know. I don't know, but we don't know these, like, you don't know these people inside out. You're just getting one bit of information from their life. And here's the thing as well, though, like, if you were to judge any of us by the worst thing that we'd ever done, none of us will probably stand up to scrutiny, you know what I mean? So, like, what's happened here is that maybe the worst thing that someone has done has happened to come to light, but, like, again, if you were to do that with, like, if you were to do that with every wrestler, and if you do that with every person, every facet of entertainment, you probably wouldn't have things left to enjoy either. Do you know what I mean? Because, again, if you're judging people on the worst thing they've ever done, not many people can stand up to that scrutiny, because we all live, we're human, we fuck up, we make mistakes, and there are mistakes you can't come back from and whatnot. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying that, like, it's like, again, what you're saying, and we've had this discussion on Low Blows before about the way people talk to wrestlers and people involved in the community on Twitter. that ultimately what's going to happen is, and you hit the nail on the head there, you're going to ruin wrestling for yourself. And if you end this day with your wrestling experience harmed in any way, well, you started this day tweeting about something that happened years ago. So you have to kind of say, I've made my wrestling experience a bit worse today. You know what I mean? And
that goes for the wrestlers too.
Yeah, true.
And like
everyone.
This is not on the fans. This is on the wrestlers.
No, yeah.
If you've started tweeting fans and, you know, putting out some strong opinions, and then your performance is affected, or you're going out and getting a reaction you don't want from the crowd, that's something you've put out in the universe as well. Yeah,
there's it's gone into tribalism. It's like both sides are like kind of fortifying their corner. You know what I mean? And it's getting into a stage where it's almost a war, like, and then it's like, this is not going to end well for anyone. Like, let's just all just wave the white flag and just say, hey, look, we all like wrestling and we have to share this fucking community together at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. It feels like it's all going to implode and nothing good is going to come from today because fans won't feel safe at shows, and they absolutely should. Wrestlers aren't going to feel comfortable being public, interacting with people, you know, because... you know, one tweet can have such big repercussions. So it's just like, I just think everyone needs to take a breath.
Yeah.
Log off Twitter and go watch AEW.
No!
NWA. No! NWA is what you meant to say. Sorry.
Anyway, geez, whoa. Covering some ground here already. We haven't even got talking about the in-ring, so let's talk about it. So much to get to, because, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the good and the bad from the week, starting with the bad, as always, because it's time for...
Say something stupid.
Say something stupid. Worst of the week. In at number 4. Let's just slay AEW because it'll make Katie sad.
Yeah. Team NWA for life, right? So you love AEW so much, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're your boys.
I only watched half of it this week. I fell asleep.
Did you watch the half of Brandon Cutler?
No.
Okay, Brandon Cutler.
Sorry, I watched that's MJF's match, yeah?
Brandon Cutler is the spit of Dan O'Byrne's from Phoenix Wrestling, right? So why didn't they just bring in Dan O'Byrne's? That's basically my question. I'd love to see Dan
Couldn't afford him.
in AEW. Possibly. But, I mean, no, they're billionaires, right? They're fucking, you know what I mean? Like, for me, if you're not going to bring in Dan O'Byrne's, don't bother bringing in some, like, cheap kind of, like, knockoff Dan O'Byrne's, you know what I mean? Bring in the real deal, or I'm not into it, you know what I mean? Already I'm just kind of like, right, I mean... Why would I watch AEW if it's just going to be kind of like a shitter version of Phoenix? You know what I mean? Like Phoenix. Why isn't Phoenix on TNT? Is what I'm saying. Why am I commentating with Tony Schiavone and Tony Kelly and JR? That'd be so cool.
You and the Tonys.
Yeah.
I'd watch, to be fair.
I just think, you know,
Mr. Charlie on like US national.
Yeah.
Keen and the two Tonys sounds like a sitcom I need in my life.
No, it'd be the two Tonys and Keen.
Yeah. With the 2.5 Men intro.
Yeah. Keen.
Well, yeah, moral of the story, replace Brandon Cutler with Dan O'Byrne's, and it's a massive step up for me personally, and that's just what they got wrong this week.
Okay, let's so we'll get into the Wednesday Night Wars now. Personally, for me, and we can disagree here. We already kind of have touched on it.
Yeah.
I thought NXT killed AEW in the first hour.
Yeah.
Like the first hour, right? Here's what it was like. For me, Matt Riddle against Adam Cole with Finn Balor coming out at the end as a surprise against the 20-minute Cody Rhodes. Like, the whole show started. Again, this is just, I don't know, Cody kind of irritates me because he's got that whole, like, you know, the boss booking himself in the big spot. Like, the show starts with Cody doing an entrance for a generic match, but doing a WrestleMania entrance where it's like, hey guys, yes, it's me.
But it was the first match on a new show. Like, think about the new people tuning in.
Yeah, and it's like, it's that Mick Carter from WWE. Wasn't he the weird Goldust lad, wasn't he?
That was an excellent run.
I'm not saying that he's bad. He is
God,
a decent
I am an
wrestler.
apologist, haven't I?
He is a decent wrestler, but like, it's just like, again, that's what they're seeing. That's what a casual fan's seeing, where it's like, your man with the fucking, he had the mustache for a while. Your man, that's the way a casual fan sees Cody.
They remember the mustache? I didn't even remember
that mustache is class.
But you might, if you're a casual fan, you might remember like Bitch. You'll be like the face mask or something like that. You know what I mean? But that's Cody, like, to the world, and it's like. But to me, again, I think they just killed him for the first hour. Now the second hour, AEW got theirs, and we'll discuss that still to come. But like, the first hour, I think, as well, what was the story with the Kevin Smith thing? That, can you really stand over that? That was the worst. Like, we had fucking Cain Velasquez and Tyson Fury, but for me, AEW was the worst celebrity cameo.
But you know what the difference is? I know who Kevin Smith is, and I don't know who them people are.
I don't know who the fuck. Who's that?
Kevin Smith, Jay and Silent Bob.
No.
Okay.
No, you're not going to get it that way. He knows Chris Jericho.
Nice.
But look, the cameo was great. I listened to Smallcast, like, you know what I mean? So I'm a Kevin Smith guy, but like, I was happy to see him and Jason Mewes. I'm like, oh, cool, what are they going to do? And then, like, it was just so cringe. They just didn't have a plan. They're like, we're going to do a celebrity cameo because we have a celebrity here because Chris Jericho's in this new movie. And they just didn't have a plan. And then Angelico and Jack Evans just came out and they're like, yeah!
Oh, wait, is this where your man... No, is this where your man was
Shut
like...
up!
No, but is this where your man was like, and you can't win a match.
Yeah. And then at the end of it, they didn't have a plan though, because Private Party just walked out, and then Angelico and Jack Evans just left. They're like, and I'm like, are they not in the match now? No, they're not in the match. They just walked away. They walked out and they walked away because they didn't plan it. And for me, the first hour felt like, look lads, we did a WWE, because it looks like WWE. I would have preferred if the layout was original. Do you know what I mean? I felt like it looked like a Raw show. Do you know what I mean?
What would you do for like a layout?
I don't know about like the design or anything like that, but like you like an original layout is Lucha Underground. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I'm not saying I want that, but I'm saying that that's a different look to NWA Power. That's an original layout. And again, not saying I want that, but like for me, it looked like a Raw. And it felt like a Raw or a pay-per-view because they have a slightly different entranceway. But everything else was looked and presented in the exact same way as a WWE show.
I feel like that's a deliberate move though, because I feel like for casual fans tuning in, if it's too different, they'll be like, I don't know what this is, this kind of shit.
I'm not saying you need to reinvent the wheel. I'm saying you can just you can do different fucking ring ropes or different like colors or something like that, different color scheme. For me, it looked like they were proud of doing a WWE. It looked like they were the objective, and the first hour to me felt like the objective was to put on a WWE style show. And again, the second hour, they turned me around, and we'll get to that. But the first hour felt like, look, we're on a TV show, and we've got a sold-out arena. And that was kind of like, they felt like, we've done the work. Because there wasn't much content there. The Cody match, okay, we'll agree to disagree on that. I'm not saying it was a bad match. I'm just saying, as your first match, like, go out with fucking the Young Bucks against fucking the Lucha Bros. Some crazy shit where it's like, shit has changed, lads. Shit has changed. Don't go out with a generic Cody match where it's like, it's a fine match in a vacuum. If you're going to ask me to rate it and give it stars, like, it's like, you know, you're talking a good 3-star match or whatever, like, but, it for me, like, setting your stall out as a company, it's like, yeah, you're putting on the second best match on national television right now by a distance. Like, Adam Cole against Matt Riddle destroyed it. Like,
yeah, but I still really liked Cody Rhodes versus Sammy Guevara.
Yeah.
I can never say it. Never mind. I really liked it. I don't know. I just thought it was a really good match, and like, it was that match, like, sometimes I forget Cody is a good wrestler because there's so much else about him that people talk about. Like, I've always really enjoyed Cody's matches.
I hate being in the same boat as Katie, but this is where I'm at right now. Yeah, it's like, well, the thing about Cole versus Riddle is that it's like, they had weeks to kind of set that up, and they've kind of like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like it was a takeover, so it was going to be better. Like, I agree, NXT was, I thought overall it was actually a much better show, but I don't really know what else AEW could have done differently. Like, for me, it's like Cody Rhodes is the main character in AEW, and AEW fans, like, I know we might not, but like they'd watch it to see Cody Rhodes, and Cody Rhodes, somebody that, despite what you were saying about him, you know, and the mustache or the Stardust lad, he's still someone that people recognize. And they wanted to establish him as a main character, so they had him come out and do that whole match at the start. Yeah. And it was a good match. It was never going to blow anyone away because there was no stakes really. But
well, no, actually there was. And you might have missed this. And this is another thing that I think needs to be mentioned and say something stupid. Cody just spoiled this whole match. Because he said, do you know the way, and this is, they booked themselves into a corner here. Do you know the way AEW came out at the start and they said, wins and losses are going to matter a lot.
Yeah.
And it's going to be important. No 50-50 booking. If you lose a match, it's a big deal. Cody came out during the week in the build-up. You might have missed this because there's a lot going on, to be fair. But he said, if I wins and losses matter. If I lose this match, Sammy Guevara is getting a title shot and going to Full Gear. And I'm like, so you're not losing. It's like there's 0% of your chance you're losing. Now, I knew there was 0% chance of him losing anyway. It's Cody gets Sammy Guevara in the first match in AEW. But there's still that, like, do you remember the Darby Allin match he had? Where it's like, you started to believe in that match that Darby Allin was going to win. Like.
And Cody didn't win that match either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I get
so,
you.
like, but having that stipulation is like, so Cody's winning. And it's just like, when you give me a 15-minute match then, when I know the outcome for 100% certainty, I'm like, just get to it. Just hit the crossroads. Just hit the crossroads. Hit the crossroads. You can hit it any time now. You know what I mean?
Did most people know about that?
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Maybe not. But for me, like, they didn't need to say that. They didn't need to say it at any stage. So whoever knew. Because they did say it publicly. So even if they didn't ruin it for all of their audience, still ruining it for a portion of your audience
isn't a good
move.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, let's move on. That's all the AEW bad talk we're going to get on to. Don't worry, lads. There's plenty of good. Before you start adding me, because people are going to go mad. In at number 3, let's talk about Raw. Let's talk about Lana and Lashley. Have we seen it yet?
Yeah, this is deadly.
No.
Big lad Lashley getting it done, man. What a hero.
I was with you.
I hope you're not talking about the sex.
No, I'm not. I meant establishing his dominance in general. That the fact that he did that was like, you know, they actually did.
You're on that list of people I don't want to hear talking about.
They weren't even having sex. They were just like lying in bed and they turned the lights off because they wanted to go sleep. No, they turned the lights off because they wanted to go sleep. That's all it was. And then they just like, it was nothing else.
Yeah, like Lana, like she was just at that stage where she's like, oh, I've had a long day. Take off the old bra. Yeah,
exactly. You know, exactly. I mean, she was just tired.
Yeah. Why did any of that happen? Why are we doing this? It's a huge week for you, WWE. It's a huge week. The competition, you've just been beaten. AEW beat you in the ratings last week at their first show. The competition are at your doors, and here's how you decide. You've got, like, last night, we're going to talk about it, but the night before, Hell in a Cell, people literally chanting for your competitors in your arena, loudly, and here's how you decide to start Raw. What if? Okay. Rusev, the show starts with Rusev getting randomly beaten up. There's no explanation of preamble for this. The show just starts and Randy Orton is kicking Rusev. Not in the back. He didn't jump him. It's in the ring. So they came out and Randy Orton just started kicking him. That's all I know.
I didn't even think of that, yeah.
They made their entrances and Rusev got on all fours and then Orton just kicked him. And then, like, eventually Rusev fights them off and then it's like, hey, look, I'm in your bed. And then, look, just the weak bits of exposition as well where it's just like, bet you wish you didn't send all that money to Bulgaria. It's just like, I don't care. I don't care where he spent his money. I don't care.
No, I do care. He's helping out his family, and that's why Lana like turned his back on him. It gave reason for it happening. I think Lana's still. I mean, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with her reasoning, but like it added a layer to that already very enticing story.
Katie, you can be the judge. We disagree.
I just really like Rusev's mustache. I haven't really thought about it much further than this.
You're just like cut back to Rusev.
Yeah.
I
feel very bad for him. I would not pick Bobby Lashley over Rusev, not in a million years.
You would.
So I don't understand the attraction there. Why she'd turn her back?
Like you would. Everyone would. Though.
No,
Rusev. Look, I love the mustache too, but Lashley is like up here. You know what I mean?
This is a podcast. I can't see your hand.
It's an audio.
It's high.
My hand was raised to very high, outstretched up near the ceiling. Because but yeah.
In at number 2, let's talk about the bad from SmackDown. We're going to disagree here too.
Yeah, we're going to disagree. SmackDown got spoiled for me immediately before I got a chance to watch it, but it didn't matter because I didn't know what was going on anyway. So. We all know I was very hyped for the Brock versus Cody match because, you know, in my little optimistic... Cody, oh my God, Kofi.
I was willing to ignore that, like...
Kofi Kingston, the former WWE champion.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts to hear.
You're going to start calling everyone Cody now.
Yeah, I know.
You're going to get home and you're going to be like, pass the salt, Cody. And Phil's going to be like, what?
What is happening? Well, he did wake up the other night and I was watching AEW being like, look at the wrestling. And he's like, we're up at 5 a.m. Kofi Kingston, I was very optimistic that Kofi might win this match.
Nah.
We talked about it last week. I thought he might win. I thought like he's been on such a high since WrestleMania. They've built him so much. You know, even if he loses, he's going to put on a really good showing. Nah. Got bet in 6 seconds. 6
Oh,
seconds?
7, I think, in fairness.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 of them was the 3 count.
Yeah. Wasn't a good game plan. Like, he jumped straight into the F5. Like,
Yeah. What was he planning there?
Yeah.
Like, what was he going for?
It was like, Joe, my favourite is Joe in a wrestler, like, does a jump off the top off the top turnbuckle to get caught into, like, an RKO or something.
Yeah.
But it's always they were going for, like, a flying nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
The double axe handle.
Or like when wrestlers are catching crossbodies and they always jump to catch them. And I'm like, what was your plan there?
Trying to jump backwards. Oh, you miss.
No, my momentum was going to knock him out of the air across the ring. So yeah, he got bet in 6 seconds and I was irate about this. I know that's what WWE want me to feel, but like this absolutely didn't work for me because then what happened after the match was Rey Mysterio's music hits. He comes down with who I at first thought was just Dominic who'd had a haircut. I don't know who Cain Velasquez is. I have no idea. I even Wikipedia'd him and I'm still not sure who he is. Apparently Brock Lesnar's scared of him. So Brock Lesnar, who just destroyed Kofi Kingston in 6 seconds, is now a face because this bigger lad's coming after him. Like, I don't really get it.
That's not
What?
That's not a face. Is that what you said?
Well, they're not kind of no, I suppose they're still portraying him as a heel.
He'd be, yeah. And Rey Mysterio did a good promo where he kind of filled in the backstory this week, so...
See, I just don't know who that guy is. I don't know if he's a bad guy, a good guy, I don't know.
Do you want me to explain?
Sure.
I actually like, again, I really like this. Now, yeah, I feel for Kofi. I do. But ultimately as well, I'm not seeing it as the be-all, end-all. I'm like, okay, look, that's a cool thing to happen on the first show. You got a WWE Championship change in, like, maybe record time. It might be the quickest title switch ever. Like, you can see Kofi's game plan went bad. I can accept that that's happening as well. I don't necessarily see it as burial. Like, it's the same as Conor McGregor, Jose Aldo. Do you know what I mean? Like, he got inside his head. Kofi went for a stupid move. His game plan was off. If you wrestle Brock that way, you're going to lose 10 times out of 10. I can accept that as a finish. I'm not too hurt for Cody. I think he's going to do fine. Even Daniel Bryan put out a message afterwards of support for everyone. I think, like, for example, it's really for Kofi, sorry. But he put it on Twitter, sorry, for everyone to see. But, like, he put out a message saying, look, Cody, this is how the biggest push of my life started. When I jobbed out in a WWE Championship match, this isn't the end of the world for you.
But see, that's what bothered me as well. All the wrestlers tweeting the next day their support for Kofi, and then the tweet Kofi put out, basically, like, apologising for losing, was very much like, not like, I'm coming to get that title back. It was very much like, thank you for letting me have my run. I'm going to go quietly back to the mid-card now.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was really bad vibes
That's
after.
fair. That's fair. That's a fair point. But also as well, think about, like, what's the best case scenario for Kofi in this match? Like, do you think Kofi now could get a Daniel Bryan type of groundswell of support because of this? Because that pisses people off. Like, WWE knew what they were doing here. Do you know what I mean? They know that, like, right, okay, we are doing Kofi a bit dirty here, but he probably will there'll be a backlash to this and people will support him more because of this. Because they'll see it as, we jobbed him out and we're like, we still think you should be the champion. So that'll probably be the vibe going in. Now, a lot has happened in wrestling since then, so maybe we're forgetting it a little bit, which might harm his momentum. But, like, I think he'll be fine from this. Where I liked the Cain Velasquez thing, I marked the fuck out for it as it happened, and I texted the group chat, and then you were both like, yeah, I hate it.
We were on the same page so much lately.
Yeah, I don't like this.
I'll get into why I liked it, and then you give your counterpoint, okay? I liked it because, like, Rey Mysterio, okay, I expected it to be Rey Mysterio. I'm like, okay, I guess they're setting up a match for the pay-per-view. They didn't. And the pay-per-view badly needed matches, like, it needed meaningful matches. But anyway, I can accept that. Rey Mysterio had just been beaten up a few days beforehand. You got the shit kicked out of him. You have to sell that. Cain Velasquez, they made sense of why Rey Mysterio apparently is Dominic's godfather as well. I like that bit of information. But also, Cain Velasquez is the person who basically ended Brock Lesnar's title reign in UFC. So Lesnar was considered Brock's match. Brock can beat anyone. Brock's unstoppable. And Cain Velasquez absolutely handled him. He bossed him around the cage for like 2 rounds, I think, and then knocked him out. And then made him look like an absolute bitch. And this is a rematch that people have wanted for years. And Brock has talked about wanting it as well. So it's a rematch that in UFC people have wanted to see for a while. And just to see, because again, since then we learned that Brock was actually suffering with a disease, like that whole serious thing that he was suffering with. So we're like, oh right, was he full health? Could Brock beat him today if he was at his full strength and stuff like that? So it is a rematch people want to see. The reason that I liked it and accepted it, because if it had just been Cain Velasquez randomly, I'd have been like, fuck this shit. For Kofi lost for that, and I would have felt like I imagine you guys feel. Why I like it is, did anyone see the clips from Triple Mania a few weeks ago with Cain Velasquez wrestling?
No.
Yeah.
Cain Velasquez is a fucking good wrestler. He's put a lot of work into this. And because we've seen those clips, like, he can do fucking Matt Hurricanranas and shit, like, he's proper got into this, like. So I'm like, holy shit, like, he cares about this. This isn't just a Tyson Fury type situation. Because if they'd done it for a Tyson Fury type situation, I'd be pissed. Because I'm like, we lost something we cared about for something we don't care about. But this is an actual hyped rematch, and like, it's with someone who actually gives a shit about wrestling. And Cain Velasquez is a huge star in Mexico. Like, I know it doesn't necessarily translate over here, and we don't feel it the way, but he's a huge star over there. He's a genuine UFC pay-per-view draw. The only thing I don't like about this is that at the end of it, it's like, it's going to happen at Crown Jewel. That's shit. Because I'm like, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, Rumble, it's big enough to be on one of those shows. But Corporate Keane, you're not a fan.
No, I think you're dead wrong. Like you say, it's an anticipated rematch. It's not. Like, I think outside of UFC, I think for me, what this is, it's kind of like an arrogant. I don't know if I want to call it arrogant, but it's like, and I'm a UFC fan myself, but this is MMA fans that are so tied into the MMA bubble that they don't realize that outside of that world, he's not a star. I don't care. He's not a star. Most people didn't know who he was. Most people, like Katie, I thought he was Dominic. I did
too. I thought it was Fat Dominic.
Like. And that would have been cool. I actually would have been up for that. But no, it's like if John Jones went to WWE, he wouldn't be the star everyone thinks he would be. Most people, no, he wouldn't. You're a UFC fan, so am I. We think he's a massive star. He's not.
John Jones would be known because of the shit he's done outside and the cheating and all that. Like, that's made him a crossover star. So no, I disagree.
No, outside of McGregor and Ronda, there's fuck all UFC stars that cross over and be massive in WWE.
Cormier.
No.
Ah, man.
No, you're saying this as a UFC
Fox
fan.
are bringing him in. Do you wonder why there was only 2 commentators on Fox? Because Cormier's number 3.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, because Fox even realised, Fox objectively are looking at it and like, he's a star. UFC is bigger than you think. They sold for $4 billion, man.
I don't buy it. But
UFC sold for twice the value of an NBA team. Consider that.
I don't know the scale.
Basketball is like,
I don't know how big NBA teams are.
Basketball is like it's about 10 times bigger than soccer in America.
Right.
And consider how popular the Women's World Cup was over there. Do you know what I mean? And basketball is about 10 times bigger than that.
Yeah.
Basketball is a cultural thing. LeBron James, you know him.
Yes.
I wouldn't see, if I saw LeBron, like I know of him, but if he was to walk in, I wouldn't know it was him.
Michael Jordan, do you have a pair of Jordans?
No.
But you know people who have pairs of Jordans. Like,
I know of him. I know he's got like
people
shoes.
in your life have pairs of Jordans.
He's in Space Jam.
Yeah, he's a movie star and he wears Jordans. Basketball is that level. And UFC sold for twice the value of a basketball franchise. They're a big deal, man.
I get your argument, but I still like. I suppose the argument is like getting non-wrestling fans into it is kind of what you're saying. But as a wrestling fan, it's so shit because most wrestling fans don't know who he is. That's like, I mean, that's the reaction I saw everywhere. It was just, who the fuck is that? Cain Velasquez, as you say.
Oh shit! Am I saying it wrong? Velasquez.
And it's just, Velasquez. Yeah, it's not something that interests me at all, and that's where it kind of hurts the most. You know what I mean? Like, and
I think my issue as well with it is like it's 2 UFC lads against each other. You know, because in my head, like, Brock's gonna wrestle like a UFC person, not a professional wrestler, and I don't like UFC. I don't want to see that match because I don't want to see a UFC match on my wrestling show. It's different when it's one person wrestling that style. Yeah, but two people. Because I think Matt Riddle did it recently on NXT, and I hated it. He wrestled an MMA type lad. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So, I'd watch UFC if I wanted to see that.
I think it might bring in maybe if people are curious about what Cain Velasquez is up to these days, because it's been a long time since he wrestled for UFC. But as far as from a wrestling fan's point of view, it's shit, in my opinion.
Right. I get that, but I think that's us saying that from within the bubble.
But why is it for the title though? If this wasn't for the title, I'd be fine with it. Do you know what I mean? If this was Cain Velasquez coming out and costing, just ending the match, before the bell rings, comes out, it's a DQ because he beats the shit out of Brock or whatever. I'd be up for that.
See, look again. I'm talking more about the moment. The moment worked for me because of everything that built up to it, and it actually all of it logically made sense. Kofi losing in seconds because he ran straight at Brock and jumped. So if you get caught by Brock can beat you in seconds. If you fuck up your game plan, it can beat in seconds. Then Brock getting interrupted by Mysterio. Mysterio has motivation. Velasquez, sure, I can believe they know each other. Mexico. And they've got beef as well. So, there we go. So everything logically fit for me. Where I don't like it is Crown Jewel. Now I'm not actually excited about their match, because it's happening at Crown Jewel. And when it's happening at Crown Jewel, it's make it for the title. I don't care. I'm not going to really watch it anyway. I might watch, but I don't really care what you do in your little Saudi holidays. Do you know what I mean?
What I will say, I agree with you on one. For me, I don't like Cain Velasquez as the payoff, but I do like how it did make sense. And I'm actually not against squash matches either. I think Kofi... People are saying, Kofi looks the worst, coming out of this. I think there's way worse ways for Kofi to look. If he got, smacked around for 10 minutes and destroyed, that'd be way worse.
The Dean Ambrose WrestleMania match, if it was that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Or it's one F5 after, 7 minutes or 8 minutes. It's this, you got caught and it's kind of happened out of nowhere. And now you could do a rematch of Kofi and Brock, and the result could be the same, but it would be a mad match if they actually go all out with it. So there is positives to take from it. I just don't think Cain Velasquez is the star that they think he is. I don't know.
Well, we'll see. Anyway, we'll find out. And again, it doesn't really, because it's on a Saudi show, it doesn't really matter if he's a big star, because they're getting paid anyway. It's a sold-on show. You know what I mean? So, that's the thing. I'm not actually that excited about the match itself now, because afterwards it's Crown Jewel.
And also, because it's for the title, I presume Velasquez isn't winning. You know what I mean?
Sorry, okay.
So you wouldn't know, but here's the thing, there was a whole thing, and I'm glad I didn't read any online, because Dave Meltzer kind of broke it a few hours beforehand where they were talking about it, and they wanted so he might have signed the proper contracts now, because he wants to transition into wrestling. That's why he was working with AAA. So he might have signed a contract now. So maybe he might end up winning.
No, I'd expect him to be signed. I just don't see why even as he's signed, I really doubt he'd be the champion.
But you can talk yourself into it. You know what I mean? By the time it comes around, they could convince you that, are they going to have the new big signing that they've signed to a full-time contract losing his first match?
Are they going to have him win the WWE Championship and have that responsibility on him right from the start? He's not
they're in a war.
He's
they're
not
in a war.
Yeah, but that's not something.
I don't think they're going to.
Yeah, no, I can't. I see what you're doing. But I can't talk myself into this.
Do you know what I hate as well? I hate these UFC people coming to WWE and automatically destroying the WWE roster. It's happened now with Brock, it's happened with Ronda, and now it's happening a third time, and it's just you're really just letting us all know that wrestling is, not real.
I didn't hear what she said, but basically, you think about Ronda though. With Ronda, it ended up elevating a lot of people.
Yeah, see, I think it will work once, twice, but if they're going to do this every time a UFC star wants to jump to wrestling, and more of them are going to come because they're going to see the success, they're going to see the pathway.
Fox now as well.
Yeah, they're going to see the pathway, and I just don't want an influx of UFC lads coming and beating the shit out of my favourite wrestlers. Oh my god. What do I sound like?
No, but
Saudi blood money. Hope you like designating in your blood money.
All I know is AEW wouldn't do this to me.
And neither would NWA, and this is why I'm Team NWA. I swear, man, this is bullshit.
Have you said that enough that Team NWA will be the episode title?
Oh yeah.
Maybe you have. Moving on. Anyway, there's only one that could be number one, and another one we might disagree on. Let's talk about Hell in a Cell. This was. I don't know what I expected to happen, but it was not that. The Fiend was such a layup. They had done so well for so long, and I saw like stuff online. Like the Ringer put up a good article where they're like, you know what? They just decided to punt on this, and they just decided to like bottle it, and like it's not actually going to harm anyone because like Rollins still looks like a boss. The Fiend, you still believe that he's like a boss. He's maybe lost a lot of cool points. For me, I think he's lost a lot of cool points. Because now I'm like, is every match that he's in going to be a hokey kind of mess? But like, again, I don't think there's mad damage that's been done by this, but it was really bad to sit through. Like, because again, I was fine with it. I was fine with the red lighting. I was okay with that. I thought it was kind of cool. They did it at SummerSlam too, and we thought it was deadly then. So to slate it now, yeah, they did it
at SummerSlam.
The Finn match, wasn't it?
No, that was normal. No, they've never done it before. And no, but the thing is, I didn't like it to watch, particularly if your stream wasn't HD. It was really bad. But it's on paper. I'm like, I see what they were. It's just like, we'll put the ending aside for a minute because as I was thinking about this, the ending hadn't happened yet. So as I was watching it, it's more like on paper I can see why they thought it was a good idea and I can understand the thought process behind it. So I don't want to shit on it because they're trying something new. I personally wouldn't do it again. Yeah, but I don't hate it. I wouldn't rip into it. You know, I'm kind of trying to say,
if you try and fail, then it's okay because you tried. You know what I mean? I get that because you're going for something. I didn't mind the red lighting because I thought it's so easily memeable. It's like, all right, Seth Rollins and Bray Wyatt in a brothel. Okay, but like it is very memeable. But like again, it's iconic. It sticks out in your memory. You're never gonna forget that match because of the red lighting. Like it's one of those things that like, and if we saw that in the Attitude Era when we were kids and we didn't fucking ask questions, we'd be like, they had red lights. Like me coming into school on Monday, like they had red lights. It was mad. It was fucking mad. Like I remember.
That's me going to college.
I remember me and my mates when like they used to do this shit with Cain and the Undertaker. We come in and we wouldn't be asking questions. We wouldn't say, I didn't like the booking. We'd be like, oh man. And Cain like burned his face in the fire, and then Paul Bearer died twice. And then it's like we didn't ask questions. We just thought it was cool because it was like you just don't think of it. And I was listening to someone reviewing it like he was a non-wrestling fan. It's a football podcast, but they like wrestling. That I was listening to, and they're just talking about it like normal fan because like they're dads and they bring their kids to these shows, and their kids thought it was cool, and as dads they're like, that's mad. WWE's mental. You know what I mean? They don't ask questions. They're not talking about the booking or the rules or should it be a disqualification or was it a no contest or anything. They're not talking about any of that. They're just going, that was mad. That was WWE. This is why I watch WWE. It's fucking mad. That's all like, that's how like, the rank and file fans who go to these shows, the local fans think of it that aren't on Twitter. Although there was a lot of people who would be on Twitter, the people chanting AEW at the end. But it was bad. Like for me, yeah, they lost me during the match when they started doing the Rollins doing 8 fucking stomps and beating on him. And again, I'm like, lads, I don't know what story you're trying to tell me here, and I want to like you so much because I've been so into all of the Fiend and the Firefly Funhouse and all of that so far. You haven't put a foot wrong, but I've lost track of the story you're trying to tell me. And as well, like then with the ending, it's one of these things we were talking about it last week with The Walking Dead, and it's like when you can see the politics of it all, because it's like, well, we want Rollins to have the belt for this and this match, and we don't want the Fiend to lose, so we have to figure out a finish that achieves all of those ends. And it's like the Fiend doesn't look good by just having the shit kicked out of him and then getting up at the end. Like. Why does he look good? Rollins, well, he couldn't pin him. His move, like anyone who doesn't kick out from a fucking stomp now looks like a bitch. Because Bray Wyatt got up like after 15 of them in a row,
and he still got killed.
Yeah, and he said like, I didn't get the story. They were saying the blood at the end was fucking hokey as shit. However, I then started to like it more because the overreaction it was then inspiring online. I then started to enjoy the memeableness of it all because like people coming out on Twitter and being like, the funniest thing I saw was like WWE, someone quote tweeted like a video of people booing it, and then they just go, you should be ashamed of yourselves. It's like, what? Like they didn't touch a kid, like. You know what I mean? Like, they did a weird finish in the pay-per-view. Like it's, why should they be ashamed of themselves? There's one review that I read, and I'm not like taking shots here, but there's one review I read online, and I want to read it out. I was reading it today, and I'm like, oh my god, like this is just the over dramatic, like, and this is kind of what I was saying with the AEW stuff as well, where they just over dramatize everything that like WWE do. This is what was said, right? Guys, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't think I can force myself to watch these shows anymore. I watch and review these so other people don't have to, but I don't think I can do it anymore. The fans were chanting for AEW while this shit show played out, and I sincerely hope these people turn away and never look back. I hope that every person who chanted AEW never buys another ticket to a WWE show. Vote with your dollar and don't give it to them anymore. I hope Vince shits his pants and falls down a hole for this. That was in bold. That's what I read there.
Wow.
That's a law, and that's hilarious. Like, I kind of want them to do finishes like this every month, just so they can wind people up that much. But ultimately, I can't say it was good. Someone's stopping to say something stupid.
Yeah, you see, like, I normally love shit like this because normally I'm in the same boat as you. I'm laughing. I'm having like the Brock Lesnar cashing in the Money in the Bank thing. Or not cashing in. Brock Lesnar winning Money in the Bank by just showing up halfway through and knocking Mustafa Ali over and taking it. That's gas. I love that. And the reaction, yeah, it made it even better for me. The one thing about this was I loved The Fiend. The Fiend was my favourite thing with WWE besides Eric Rowan, obviously. And it was like, he was like in the world, he was up there. He's probably like one of my top 5. Like, I feel like such a nerd like this, but like, it hurt. And it was like, after it, the part that hurt me the most was after the match was cancelled, which, by the way, why is the ref turning around in a Hell in a Cell match and being like, no, Seth, not this way? It's like, wait, who are you? Were you a character now? Like, that's so weird. Like,
I can accept the theory behind it from the standpoint that you were saying, where it's like, I get you tried something and you didn't go for it. I can accept that a ref is like, if someone's going to hit someone with a sledgehammer in the face, the ref is going to be like, someone's going to die here, and I'm an official.
it's Hell in a Cell.
No, I don't buy that.
Hell in a Cell.
I don't buy that.
Oh, it's so dumb. It's like, what if like Walter was killing Jordan Devlin in the National Stadium and Foxy's like, Walter, not like this.
He went to hit him with a sledgehammer in the face. If someone in UFC went to hit him with a sledgehammer in the face.
But that's not Hell in a Cell. That's a regular octagon. That's like a regular one-on-one singles match. You know what I mean? Like, it's not the same. Like, it's so dumb. But also, it's not that, right? The part that really hurt, right, was after like the match was over, it was said and done, they completely fucked it. And then like, they started doing all the scary shit after the match. You know the noises, I don't know what you call them, are they sirens, are they whatever you want to call them?
Yeah, the
and
psycho type.
And as soon as that hit, I was like, this isn't the same. I just watched him get the shit kicked out of me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Everything up until now is like, I'm rarely the sort of person who's like, oh, they ruined it, but they did though. It was like, it's all the killiness, everything that made me enjoy it is now gone. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna be like, oh, I'm never watching WWE again. Immediately I watched Raw the next day and I still watch it. I like it. It's fun, but like, yeah, that was shit. And also, what do you think of this? Because I saw somebody say this was Seth Rollins' Royal Rumble 2015.
Oh.
Well, I think that's an interesting one because it's like,
What happened in 2015?
Reigns on the Rumble and he got shot on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so like, because did you see the reaction Rollins was getting?
Yeah.
After the pay-per-view, people were literally like, fuck you, Rollins, like, fuck you.
He doesn't help himself because did you see the clip of a fan who, like, it's just a young fan who had a sign that said Seth Rollins isn't cool anymore.
Yeah.
And then Rollins went up and squared up to the fan. And it's like, dude, you need to climb down. Whatever ego, like, I get he was probably embarrassed because he knew, like, the lads knew this wasn't good. They knew. Well, the fans are chanting AEW and Rollins has to spit out pretend blood. They're like, this is not one of my, I'm not going to be talking about this in the autobiography, like, but like, they knew it wasn't good, so they're embarrassed. But like, dude, you need to calm your shit and stop taking yourself so seriously now. Like, it was bad. It was all bad.
Okay, look, you're both wrong.
Okay.
This is amazing.
All right. Okay.
I loved it.
Okay.
Every second of it. I wish it was longer.
Right.
I wish there was more.
Okay, go.
I loved it because I went in with the expectation it was going to be batshit, and it was, and I loved it. The story I took from it was, The Fiend has been saying, like, I'm targeting Seth Rollins because of your past sins, okay? A lot of his past sins are tied up to Triple H, the Authority, turning on people, you know, to be the Authority's lapdog. So, like, the symbolism of the sledgehammer being the final straw. Like, that's what I took from it. Like, using the pedigree when his own finisher wouldn't do the job, turning back to that dark side, like a callback to, like, the Authority and Triple H, and when he did all that shit and he still couldn't get the job done. Like, that's the story I thought they were telling. That, like, this match and not being able to beat the Fiend was pushing Seth into the dark side that the Fiend was accusing him of having. No?
Tim Storm versus Nick Aldis is way better. Way better. Not even close, like.
I thought the lighting was cool. I actually loved the overkill of the finishes because, like, it was just insane. It made no sense. And I loved that it made no sense.
I liked all the curb stomps. It's like, again, if you just take out the ending and pretend that didn't happen, I loved it up until that point. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just the ending sucked the life out of me. I was like, no.
No, I kind of wanted the Fiend to do the Undertaker sit up instead.
That's what I was expecting.
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, no, not the Undertaker sit up. The Sister Abigail crawl.
Yeah,
you know, like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, he's gonna do it.
That would have been cool. And then if he had grabbed him, yeah. I'm even okay with the DQ because, again, like there is no I'm doing air quotes.
By the way,
there's
sorry,
no DQ
it's
in
not
Hell in a
DQ.
Cell.
It was ref stoppage.
Ref stoppage. Like, I know, it's Hell in a Cell. But, like, I think they were trying to get across the fact that, like this match had gone too far. Too much had happened.
Someone's going to die.
Yeah.
But now, why would
I
I
was okay with that.
I was okay. They stopped the match when Mick Foley got thrown off the cage, or they tried to.
Yeah, but they didn't, though. That's
but they
the thing.
tried to
But they
because it
couldn't.
had gone too far.
Yeah, but they didn't. And the thing is, like...
It's because the lads kept wrestling. Like, Jenny, that was a shoot. Like, the lads are like, no, we're fine, we'll finish.
Well, I'll tell you why it's shit, though. If that match went too far, that means it's like, all right, now there's a limit on how far matches can go. And, like, look at The Fiend. It's like, in all his future matches, how am I meant to expect that they won't all just go too far and end that way? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of...
No, but in my head now, it's like, you know, like, The Fiend is unbeatable. He didn't stay down for 3.
because he lost via ref stoppage. He lost his first match.
Because he wouldn't stop. Like, he wouldn't stop getting up.
So he lost. And that's the thing. Is, like, now, that's the exact point. That's
like,
why
would you not be into The Fiend and Brock Lesnar now thinking that he'll probably kick out of all Brock Lesnar's finishers?
No, because it's just going to end with a ref stoppage. With Brock Lesnar F5'd him 10 times and the ref going, actually, yeah, we're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but...
Do you know what's weird as well? Like, it's just weird. Because, yeah, I feel both of your arguments here. I'm like, I've seen The Fiend get the shit kicked out of him and not be able to do much about it. But also, like, yeah, he was like he took what knocked out Brock Lesnar and just kicked out at 1. That was a class moment. When he kicked out at 1 after it was class. But then he took what beat Braun Strowman. And it's like, you know, that was the story they were telling too. Like, that's what beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania when he did multiple stomps. And then with Braun Strowman, he needed the pedigree on top of the multiple stomps. And then even that couldn't beat him. So, like, I get it, but also the visual of seeing The Fiend get the shit kicked out of him.
Exactly.
It's just I can't get that out of my head, and now he's not unstoppable anymore.
Yeah, but it's because he pushed Seth Rollins to that place. He's in his head.
So
he wanted it.
So now he can push anybody to that place and they can just beat him.
But literally, he can just come back and be like, I was right. I was right about you because look at what you are now. He's destroying him emotionally. That's where The Fiend's real power lies.
See, the problem here is that it's got such a bad backlash that they have to drop this story immediately, and they didn't go anywhere with it on Raw. And like, because again, yeah, like it needed something like Bray to come out in Firefly Funhouse and be like, haha, that's exactly what I want to happen, haha. And then it's like, all right, I'll go with it. I'll give you a pass because I want this to be good, but like, yeah. But then they didn't do it, and they have to drop it. So now it's just like, yeah, okay, it didn't happen.
Do you know what's funny though? Remember last week I was like, oh, silly Mick Foley thinking the girls should go on last this time because the Fiend's gonna be brilliant.
He was right. Oh,
sorry, Mick.
Mick Foley knows more about wrestling than us. Turns out, fair play. Anyway, look, let's get on to the good from the week because there was actually a lot of it. We spent a lot of time talking about this. But there's a lot of good to talk about, so let's get on to it because it's time for Best of the Week. In at number 6, I want to talk about Raw, and I'll keep this short enough. So there was a few unexpected gems. Raw was a bit meh. It felt like, you know what I mean? It felt like the end. Do you know when you watch SmackDown at the end of WrestleMania week? And there's been so much wrestling. You watch like NXT on the Friday, and then whatever the show is on the Saturday, and then WrestleMania on Sunday, and then Raw after Mania on Monday, and then SmackDown's just like, We have one more show to do, so here's a 6-man tag. That's what Raw felt like a bit from a storyline standpoint, but there were a few unexpected gems on it. And of course, like, we have the draft this Friday, which again we're gonna get build up for it as well. So Raw was the one that kind of lost out. But there were some unexpected gems in it worth going out of your way to see. Ricochet wrestled Apollo Crews. Really short match, but really cool match. Just built up off these two guys are best mates. They used to wrestle all the time in the indies, and we're just going to let them do indie shit. Again, it was only about like 6-7 minutes, so they couldn't have like an epic match. But, like, the spots they did in it were class. Just like two guys who know each other inside out, and they just had counters for each other's counters. Like, it was really fucking cool. And really good for Apollo Crews as well, because it's just a reminder, this guy's a really good wrestler. Like, he can go, like, and he can go with all these indie guys you like. So I really enjoyed it. Natalya against Lacey Evans in a last woman standing match. Not going to turn around and say it was a great match or anything. It won't be in anyone's match of the year or anything. But it was cool. Like, they went out and, like, this storyline, Lacey Evans is coming along in the ring a lot, like, and as someone who slated her a few months ago when she was doing all the Becky feud, and I stand by all that, she was bad in those things, but now she's, credit where it's due, this was a good match. They did a really cool spot where she threw Natalya onto the stage, and remember last week I was talking about the curved stage and how it's a health and safety hazard, and Natty just had to slide down, like, it was like she on a fucking water slide, but it was a really cool spot. And then Lucha House Party against the OC, fucking class match. Go out of your way to see this. This was really fucking fun, because you're like, this is just the OC squashing them. No, the Lucha House Party got 90% of the offense in this match, and they just sold like motherfuckers for them. It was really cool and unexpected. Just one of these Raws where they just throw away stuff. Then you had the Tyson Fury stuff. Well, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We'll get to it. No, we bring it up now, actually. We'll talk about the Tyson Fury stuff. What do we think about the Tyson Fury stuff?
I don't really know who he is.
Right, well, that's on you. He's a really big star.
Outside of the UK, though, and obviously, like, Ireland as well.
Yeah.
Is he?
After Wilder, yeah.
I would have thought that he's, like, a complete unknown outside of, like,
after
Europe.
Wilder.
Is he a homophobe? That's all I see.
Yeah, apparently.
There's stuff in it now. No, to be fair, I like...
Do we need to cancel him?
No. Like, this is the thing, and it's similar to what we were discussing with Wrestling Twitter, but all of Wrestling Twitter is doing that now. With Tyson Fury, it's like he made these comments a few years ago. He's a gypsy, and he has a lot of, like, he's quite proud of his heritage and goes out and, like, kind of represents. But, like, there's a trade-off for, like, you know what I mean. He has a few backwards views, you know what I mean. But there's also, like, he's a good promo guy. Like, he's a really entertaining, charismatic guy. This is why he's kind of got, like, buzz in the boxing world after a Wilder fight, because his promos are hilarious. Like, at one promo he just started singing Sweet Caroline for no reason, like in a press conference, and then got all the journalists going, he's fucking entertaining as fuck. But, like, he's talked quite publicly about this, how he went on, like, a drug binge, and he was an addict and had to check into rehab, and he bloated up to over 400 pounds, and he nearly committed suicide. He's a mental health advocate now, and he's like, yeah, I made some comments when I was off my mind on fucking Skag, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I've had a tough life, lads, like, and to me, like, the wider world has giving him a pass, because we recognize that, yeah, like, when you're off your mind on drugs, you can say things in interview. You probably shouldn't have a microphone pointed to your fucking face. So to me, I don't like this, because it's like wrestling fans taking this one snapshot of a guy from 10 years ago and going, haha, look, he said this, therefore a bad person. And it's like, there's a whole wider context to this that you're not taking into account. But what did we think of the actual segments? Are we buying into it, or what's the story there?
I saw the one on Raw, and it like, something put like that. I don't know, like, I'm kind of, I will say this, it's gotten, like, mainstream coverage in the UK. The UK, like, are all over this. Like, that's hitting, like, news and stuff over there. So that's good in that regard. To me, it looked like a very kind of shit Austin Tyson thing.
Yeah.
Like, there was no,
I get that.
It's like Austin Tyson was like, unlike with Austin Tyson, this is, like, happened before. Like, and it's kind of, there's no kind of, whoa, look at that, you know what I mean? It's just kind of going through the motions. I can see why, like, Tyson Fury isn't the worst outside person to bring in for something like that, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he fits the role.
Yeah. And he can talk, and he can do a lot of stuff, like, when they let him loose, like...
I'm not super excited about it, but I'm not like also strongly against it either. I'm kind of like
I get that.
I'm kind of neutral until I see where it goes. You know, kind of way.
I agree on that. One bit I liked in it though was when like Braun went to the back and he's like, "You come into my house and attack me," and then Braun realizes he's still angry, like he's doing a backstage interview after the brawl, and he realizes he's still angry and he goes, "No, fuck this," and he runs back out and attacks him again. I thought that was quality. I just hadn't seen that done before. But yeah, I get it. It felt very like, oh, you're doing a Mike Tyson and Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. Oh yeah, I see what you're going for there. That worked in the Attitude Era the last time you're in a war.
But in the Attitude Era, you're not like, oh, I see what you're going for. You're like, oh, holy shit.
This is so new.
And
like,
it's not because you're younger either. It's because it was kind of a unique thing back then.
It hadn't been done.
Whereas now it's kind of like, it's very much been done, you know what I mean?
Totally agree.
But do you not think it's a bit mad they're doing two of those kinds of stories at the same time?
And it's because of Crown Jewel. It's a crowd. They're doing a press conference this week apparently, where they're announcing these two matches for Crown Jewel. So it's literally a case of now they've so much money that they're just going to celebrities. It's like, do you want a shitload of money and you'd be a wrestler for a night? And they're like, yeah. So I think that's what's going on there. Like, so yeah, as well, same deal. It's tough to get excited about it because I mightn't even watch the actual match. Like, I'm not that arse for Crown Jewel. Let's talk about Hell in a Cell in at number 5. There's a bit of a nothing pay-per-view. Again, it kind of felt a bit like a hangover, where it was like, we've kind of blown our load for the week. We've blown out our big plans. It could have really done with KO against Shane McMahon on this. Like, there was so much space for matches, because there was a lot of filler on it. But there were some good stuff. Ali's counter to the RKO was genuinely fucking genius. I loved it. It was fantastic. I thought that was a great match. I wish they'd have given it some build, because it was the one thing that was missing. It's like, when you put these wrestlers together, I really want to get into this, but you couldn't, because it's a random SmackDown match, and it's like, I probably know where this is going, and it went the way you thought it was going. So, but the counter was really cool. Becky and Sasha though, probably match of the week. Would I be fair in saying that? Well, that or Riddle and Adam Cole, I'd say.
There's a lot of matches. That's a bold statement, but it's a contender. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like, I love when people go out. It reminded me of New Day and the Usos, because the thing I loved about New Day and the Usos and their Hell in a Cell is they made like, do you know the way with Hell in a Cell we feel like we've seen it all now? We've seen all the spots. We've seen people come off the cage. We've seen people come through the cage. We've seen them on top of the cage. We've seen them do this. We've seen the spots. So when people do something original, which I thought they had a lot of those kind of spots, like the chair with the kendo sticks. I hadn't thought of that. And then like Lacey and Natalya then tried to rip that off on Raw, where Lacey then tied Natalya up in a chair under a kendo stick. And I'm like, you've never thought of that if you hadn't seen it before. But like, when I saw them do that spot, I was like, oh lads, I love when they can make old matches seem new, and I was delighted for them as well to get that match out of it. Loved as well the ending of it with Sasha standing on the stage just bawling her eyes out. Like, it was like, you really felt, she's like, that was my shot, and I fucking missed it.
But she's the heel.
You
I want
didn't
her
like
to lose
it.
her shot.
Yeah, I know, but you could, what I'm saying is the emotion worked for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's standing there crying, and I'm like, you lost your shot, because I'm happy Becky win. You know,
okay.
I support Becky, but like, I feel the emotion that Sasha's.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Not like a sympathy thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like you're sitting there like, ha 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 ha, you know what I mean? But also, it's not coming across corny either. Do you know what I mean? They earned her crying by having a good match. If that's a shit match, you know what I mean? If that's the end of, like, imagine Seth Rollins had stood up on the stage at the end of Hell in a Cell, like, what even happened? It's like, just go. Just go. They'd earned that. In at number 4, I want to talk about SmackDown, the first episode of SmackDown on Fox.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good first episode. There was a lot in it to like. The Rock, Becky and Corbin opening it. Like, look, The Rock does the same thing every time now. He has his catchphrases, he insults a heel, probably gets a chant going. But like, I just really liked it because I thought Becky really played her part well. Like, she actually was just as charismatic, just as funny, like hit the right notes, like comedy wise. I thought Corbin was really good.
Yeah.
Like his reactions and stuff. Like, some of The Rock's insults, I'm like, you know, like, he gets, but he gets a bit of a chuckle once and then milks it to death. Like the Cracker, Burger King, whatever. That was funny once, and then like just kept referring to him as Cracky, and I'm like, no, that's not funny. Like you popped me the first time. Now you're just trying. And then when he was,
my little sister used to do that, and she'd literally be like, "Stupid face," and then everyone would like, "Ha ha ha," and then she'd be like, "Stupid face, shut up."
yeah, I just thought like, and then he's like, he got the STD like barely going, and he's like, that's gonna follow you around. You're gonna hear that every match, and I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me what to chant, Rock. I want you want chants to be organic, like the fans pick up on it, and he's spoon feeding them the chants. But aside from that very small gripe, like I really liked the opening. What?
You're such a millennial. You're such a millennial.
Why?
I'm an independent thinker, actually, Rock.
I want you to tell me what to say without me realising you planted it in my head. Is that too much to ask? But yeah, I liked, it's always good to see The Rock, like, even just hit his finisher, and like even Becky getting her leg drop and stuff in. I just thought it was really cool, and like it just shows how big a star Becky is. Like a 25-minute opening promo straight into the first match of SmackDown. It's all about Becky. Like first match is good, the tag match with the girls, and set up like, I don't think Charlotte and Bayley was announced when this happened, was it?
It was after, because Charlotte beat her there.
Yeah, so they put it on.
Yeah.
Like a very late build to that match, but I suppose at least they put something into it. The ladder match is really good.
Yeah.
Shane McMahon is gone.
Yeah.
I like this feud. Like I've liked where it went, and I think it's like a fitting end to like Shane on SmackDown. Yeah. You know.
Again, KO at the end of that match when he's like just fucking like, yes! Again, it feels earned.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because the match, I loved it was a really good tone setter for SmackDown as well, because like, do you know what I loved about this match? And it made no sense. Do you remember they went to the ad break where Shane jumped off, did the elbow drop through the table, and then they came back from the ad break and KO was giving him a frog splash through a ladder, and it's just like, it makes no sense. It's stupid. We need to see that journey of how that happened, because otherwise it's just like them doing stunts. But it worked for the first show on SmackDown, because if you're just watching this, if you're like, you haven't watched wrestling in 10 years, and you're just like, I know Shane McMahon, and then you're like, this is fucking mental. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what they're going for, and I think they got it.
Yeah, no, I loved it, and it's like one of Shane's good matches where it's just like, you know what spots he's going to do. You don't really care what happens in between them. You just want to see the coast to coast. Exactly. You want to see the table or the elbow drop to table. Also, it just makes you think what a mad bastard Shane is. Yeah. He's a billionaire's son. Like, he's a millionaire in his own right. He does not need to do that. He does it for fun. That's crazy.
But what I love is the fact that, like, in the first episode on Fox, he's gone. Yeah, kind of way.
Yeah.
It's like the end. I mean, I know people are saying, "Oh, he might not be gone. He might be coming back, whatever." But I'm going to assume he's gone just because that's what I'm being told. So, like, If he is, that's deadly. I think that's a good way to like end his run. Is right now on the bigger stage. Let someone, let you know, like an Eric Rowan or something step up and kind of take that place.
The other thing I loved about SmackDown, which seems redundant now, was Firefly Funhouse. So, lads, he killed Ramblin' Rabbit.
That was mad. I got a bit sad watching that.
I got really fucking affected. Like, I was like, oh Jesus, if he did do that to Rabbit, what's going to happen to Rollins?
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. I was like, it actually did kind of get to me in a weird way. Like, it shouldn't, but...
I was like,
go ahead.
This is a puppet. This is a puppet. Why do I care about a puppet so much? And I was sitting there watching it on my laptop beside Phil, and I just went, what's happening? He killed Ramblin' Rabbit.
But like, if it makes you feel better, hasn't he done this before? Like, I think he's killed Ramblin' Rabbit. I think this is like a Kenyan
like
South
Not in such brutal fashion.
Yeah,
like, did he not hit him with a mallet and crush him?
This is way worse.
He disemboweled.
I know, but like, he'll be back. Is what I'm saying.
I don't think so.
Can I just mention something? Because I know we're talking about this is awesome, but I forgot to mention this and say something stupid. And Rick's headphones is plugged out, so I'm going to take full advantage of this.
Quick, while he can't hear us.
Eric Rowan not getting to interact with the Rock is bullshit. As cool as the Becky segment was, I loved it. I loved Becky and Corbin and all that. Rowan should have come out completely unrelated and just smacked them and then to the left. Also, sorry, no, but this is awesome, right? Was it Rowan versus Reigns?
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved one thing about it. One thing. And it was when Rowan got thrown out and he's just smacking the lumberjacks around like flies. And it wasn't even like Kurt Hawkins. It was like the Viking Raiders. And he's like, fuck in my face. I'm like, that's all I need. 'Cause you know what I don't like about the Viking Raiders?
What?
just to shit Ronan Harper. And I've always felt that. And I always thought that they were going to come in and take the Bludgeon Brothers' place, but it didn't turn out that way. And I was like, I have this weird, completely unnecessary, undeserved hatred for them. Because like they're so talented and they're so good, but every time I see them, I'm like, fuck you. You're coming in to take my man's spot. Fuck you.
Right, okay, Corporate King, you've been building it up the entire show, so I think it's time we get to it. Let's talk in at number 3 about NWA Power.
Are the final 3 in reverse? I'm assuming you're doing a fun little quirky thing where it goes 1, 2, 3, and yeah, that's okay.
No.
All right, so in at number 1, but obviously we're working backwards. Okay. In at number 1, obviously, because I'm assuming we put this down to a vote, didn't we? And I wouldn't have voted for anything other than NWA, I assume.
It wasn't on the vote.
Imagine actually, so...
And I'm actually complimenting it here by putting it ahead of things that were in the poll.
Imagine not putting NWA in the poll. I mean, at least it would have been fine if you like assumed it was number 1, and that's why you didn't put it in, because like you knew that by default everyone would vote for it. So, right, fine. Number 3 apparently, not a Corporate King decision. Just to clarify, NWA lads. The boys are back, right? The NWA are back at it, and it's fucking deadly, right? They started up a new weekly show called NWA Power. It's got 3 R's. I don't know how you pronounce something with 3 R's. Power,
like a girl.
I don't know. I just call it Power. But I mean, look, 3 R's because it's 3 times as good as every other wrestling show out there right now. So. It is, first of all, the show's on YouTube, right? YouTube is the best. It is the best place to watch a wrestling show. Like, it is just so accessible. You can watch it anytime. And just the player in general is a lot. It's nice and easy to use and, whatever. But, yeah, so NWA, when this was announced, I was like, right, cool. Because I only know the champions. They're the only people that you know going into it. Fucking Nick Aldis is the world champion. James Storm is... the something champion. North American? Is that it? I don't know. Who else? Okay, I've gone blank. Right, But the women's champion, Allysin Kay. And she debuted a new title. And this title is the best championship in all of wrestling. And look, I'm really good at reading people's faces and reading their emotions. Rick and Katie agree with me. They are nodding across the table. They're like, Keaton, it's the best title I've ever seen. And you know what? It's almost like you don't even need to say it. Lads, the title, basically, it's a throwback to the Mildred Burke era of NWA. Am I going to pretend I knew that? No. Killer Steve W. told me. Shout out. But it's a throwback to the Mildred Burke era of NWA. And for those of you that don't know what that means, she had her own championship. But instead of the NWA logo in the middle, instead of a spinner in the middle, it is her face in the middle. This is perfect. Allysin Kay now has a championship with her face as the centerpiece, the middle. Katie's just jealous. That's why she's looking at me like that.
It looks like a memorial.
It's a memorial for all the opponents she's going to kill in that ring every single week.
Well, then it should be their face.
What?
Well, then it should be their face.
No, because then you have to redo the belt every week. It's a convenience thing, right? Anyway, it is just so good. And like that's what I was thinking. If let's say for some bullshit reason, like I don't know, maybe she got injured or whatever reason, she gets screwed out of a title, whatever, and somebody else wins the title, they're gonna have to carry around her face, and that's even better. Or like, and this is actually a gas idea. It's like, you know the way like WWE has custom side plates. It's a picture of their face
over, and you can see the old pictures underneath it.
That's actually really funny. But no, she's gonna hold it the entire way through, so we don't need to worry about that. So with new titles, new shows, then you're like, oh, who's on the roster? So they put out a picture. This is before I got to even watch the show. They put out a picture. Well, if you know those pictures promotions put out where it's like the whole roster standing in the ring, happy, smiley and shit. They had one of those, and oh my god, this roster, right? Allysin Kay, first one, that was known already. My best fucking friend, Melina. Right there, right? Allysin Kay, Melina. No, it doesn't end there. Damien fucking Sandow. Remember Damien Sandow?
Yeah, one of my faves.
Damien fucking Sandow, right? Dan, you remember Extra Talented that came to OTT and everyone said bring them back and they never got brought back and you don't know where they are now? Well, Ricky Starks is in NWA.
One of them.
What's wrong with that? Lads, I'm not done. Eli, okay, I know he's against intergender wrestling and all that sort of shit, but Eli Drake, charismatic as fuck, he's there. Speaking of charisma, Eddie Kingston, he's there. Who's tagging with Eddie Kingston? Homicide, he's there. Fucking Mr. Kennedy He's there.
Makes sense.
Trevor fucking Murdoch.
Didn't know
he's there.
You're the third person to get excited about Trevor Murdoch on this show. That I've spoken to this week, like.
Yeah.
He was like, we reported on him on like Low Blows 3, and we tracked him down and realized that he was now, he wasn't a wrestler anymore. He was like selling internet cables.
And now he's back. It's so cool. There's so many, like, even, like, I know as I'm talking to you, I'm forgetting loads of other names. Like, it's so cool. And I watched the show this week. I watched it. It's on, what day of the week are we on now?
Tuesday.
Yeah, it's on Tuesday night, so I might not have time to see it every week before the show, but I specifically, because it's the first one, I was like, I'm watching this.
Yeah.
Lads, it is basically like, I don't know what decade,
It's
but it's
the 70s.
Yeah, 70s?
70s and 80s, early 80s wrestling. Have you seen clips of this?
Yeah, I've seen clips.
Oh, you'd be all about this, yeah.
It's a throwback, essentially, in as many ways as they possibly can.
It's filmed, I think, in the Moat Theatre.
Yeah, it is, yeah. All the crowd are on one side. It's in a TV studio, and it's very much like, I was watching some of the talking segments they had there. It was, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was like Eddie Kingston was there anyway. And it turned, obviously it was a talk segment that devolved into like a scrap then. But they had all these like, you know, like the TV, like props, like the table, like, it's like a little prop, so just smacked it out of the way. And it looked really funny. It was just like, the whole thing is so cool, and it's so different. And I'm just like, I'm in love with the roster. I love how like, they have their own, exclusive roster. Like, that's not easy considering the amount of promotions out there now. Like you're able to assemble a decent roster with lads that you're not going to find in other promotions. Because that's a turn off for me. I want to watch AAW, for example. Great promotion, but when I watch AAW, it's like, I can kind of see these guys anywhere. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, as cool as it is, it's not a priority for me to see it, because it's kind of like,
just go to the next OTT Stadium show and half of them are going to be
but even like bigger promotions, you know, like Impact and wherever else will have them. Do you know what I mean? But NWA, it's old school. It's obviously it's in like HD and shit. So that's the only thing that's like kind of
mad. It's really surreal watching it, because it's both modern and so old school at the same time. That's alternative. That's fucking alternative.
Exactly. It's fucking different. In a world with like hundreds upon hundreds of wrestling promotions, they've still managed to find a way to make it different.
By just going back, by just looking backwards a bit, it's fucking genius. I know. I'm all in on NWA. I agree. I am.
You're not team NWA. You're not loyal enough, so I don't really care.
I'm not. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Do you know, and I saw people complain and said, "Oh, but Jim Cornette's on commentary and he's this, he's that." This was made for Jim Cornette, man. Jim Cornette needed to be on commentary for this. This is the most Jim Cornette show ever. It's like, what if Jim Cornette was to have a wrestling show? And this is like, look, I know, love or hate Jim Cornette, he is a character, and it's a different way of looking at things compared to how most people would at this stage. And it's just interesting to see. And I'm so curious to see where it goes from here. You know what I mean? Like, I am genuinely really, 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 really excited for this. And I'll be watching it every week. Hashtag Team NWA. That was number 1, and this is awesome. I imagine we're now going to go to number 2.
We are going to go to number 2, because we put out a vote during the week where you guys picked what you thought should be number 1, and what you thought should be the top of This Is Awesome. And in the number 2, you voted for NXT on USA.
Yeah. Look, I know I said it was Team AWE. I can't even say the letters.
You're such a bad teammate.
Oh, it's so bad. You know what? Like, all this wrestling is mushed into one in my brain. It's been a week.
And that's just week 1.
It's just week 1. As I said to you earlier, I might have to actually start scheduling when I'm watching shit, just to keep up with it all. Yeah, look, you said about Becky and Sasha being match of the week. I actually think it was Riddle and Cole from NXT. Their opening match was really, really good. Yeah. It was everything. And I had lots of build, and it was exciting. And like, I haven't been the biggest fan of Adam Cole, but like, he's been growing on me more and more every week. And this is the match where I had to actually go down a train and be like, take back everything I said, lads. I'm on the Adam Cole bandwagon. I'm driving it now. It was really good. And then, Finn Balor coming out at the end. So Adam Cole wins, and you're kind of like, oh, where's this going to go? Like, Riddle's lost, 2 title matches now? Finn Balor back in NXT. Yeah. And it's a perfect fit, because he was doing nothing on the main roster. Mm-hmm. I'm sad we won't get the Demon versus the Fiend.
I'd say we will. Like, it's not necessarily... He can still go back.
Yeah,
he
that's
can still do stuff. He can jump around. Now, what they said to me was that guys can go anywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like, not in the wild card kind of lame.
But like, I hope he doesn't. I hope he stays on NXT for a while, because it seems to me they're building it as an actual third brand now instead of developmental. Yeah.
It was a cool name, and as well, it's like, oh no, big names can show up. Like, it's not just going to be the lads who aren't using, like, the fashion police.
Yeah,
You know, it's like proper names could be on this. Like, NXT is part of the draft and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's just, it gives so many fresh matchups, like, because, like, I don't love a lot of people on NXT. I feel like it's been really lacking, like, characters.
Yeah.
And like the demon's a character, you know, so if he brings the demon to NXT, that's really cool. And yeah, Ciampa's back.
Yeah.
6 months after I think his 4th surgery, like spinal fusion surgery, and he's back. That's just deadly. And again, loads of fresh matchups again. So yeah, that was my favourite parts of NXT. It was a really good show all the way through, and it was better than AEW all the way through. Well, AEW is so fresh and so new, so I'm like a magpie, and I just love anything new and shiny.
So let's talk about it. Well, he doesn't even agree that this is number one.
This order is so fucked because like my enthusiasm was so high, and now it's like it's not that it was a bad show, but it's kind of like I'm kind of like, oh, this is. Yeah, I mean, it was alright.
AEW Dynamite. We're going to talk about the good.
Look, it was historic, and it was what's the word I'm looking for? Important? Iconic? No, I don't know.
Important. It was important. It beat WWE in the ratings. It's the first company since WCW to beat WWE in the ratings. Consider that. That's 20 years. WWE hasn't been beaten by wrestling, and now it officially has. Because we put it last week, like when we were discussing it before, we're like, it's genius. They put them against the NXT, and they're going to lose the NXT. They're going to look so shit. But now they destroyed NXT in the ratings.
Yeah, but that's because like I hope it does kind of stay that way, so WWE keep pushing back, and because they're ruthless. Like I love that where it's like, you want to compete with us? Here's Balor. Oh, here's Ciampa back. Oh, sorry. You know what I mean? They're just fucking ruthless. But what you call it? Yeah, but I do feel like the fact that it was the first show versus a continuing show played a huge part of that.
Yeah, the curiosity vote.
Yeah,
but I think as well, like they're gonna have momentum from winning the race. Do you know what I mean? I think they're gonna win for a while now.
Hopefully.
I think so.
I hope it works out. I hope it works out for both of them, obviously. You know what I mean? No, I'm picking sides.
It's way better if the way it happened is way better.
You see, I hope it works out for both of them because NWA are on a Tuesday, so it's like they're not involved. They're not involved in this war. You know what I mean? But they chose their day wisely. But what you call it? Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff I liked about the show. I forgot to write down Tony Schiavone, so I'm going to mention it now in case I forget. It was cool hearing him. It was cool seeing him, I thought. And he just seemed real happy, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't like... I don't know, it's cool. My favourite match was Rio versus Nyla Rose. Mainly because just the shock of it. I thought Nyla Rose was nailed on to win the title. Yeah. And then Rio just wins it. And it's like... their women's title's small, yeah?
Yeah.
But, like... On Rio, it looks like normal size, so like it actually worked out. Like, and it's just. And again, you said this a while ago. I think it's a very valid point about how like the Japanese female wrestlers on AEW could be like their WCW cruiserweights and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see where Rio goes as champion. I hope she holds it for a while, but obviously we're just gonna have to wait and see. Sorry, I have to scratch my face. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't just like turn the mic. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, do you want to say something about that?
On that, there's a couple of things on it as well. I think they should just go all in with the Joshies. Like, I think it should be all about that. Like, forget about, like, Nyla's grand, and like, I get what they're going for, but like, I don't think there's enough upside. Like, the unfortunate part for AEW was that every big wrestling company needs to have a women's division now because WWE have made that a 50-50 part of their show, and that's a good thing to have. But the problem was, like, with contracts and the way things worked out right now, like, there's not a lot of, like, you know, talent that's out there that aren't signed already, whether it be to WWE, Ring of Honor, you know, in Stardom or NXT UK. There's maybe not the depth. So the Joshies, for me, I think, are a way they can totally make themselves unique. Shit buzz for the likes of Britt Baker, but I don't think anyone's dying to see that Britt Baker run.
I don't know. I think she'll be okay. Have you heard she's a dentist?
Yeah. This is like, what? How weird was that? And how bad is she a commentary as well? Like, it's like, what do you think about that, Britt? Really good. Stop. You're a dentist, right? Sure am. It's just like
it's not entirely relevant either. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what it reminds you when Rich Swann was on 205 Live and Mauro Ranallo was desperate to bring up the fact that his parents were killed, and it was like so relevant to what was happening, and it was just like Rich Swann climbing up to the top rope. His parents died when he was 5 years old. It's like, that's not really relevant though, is it?
But you know what it makes me think as well? Like, you're really pushing the fact she has this day job, this career, and it's like, are you not paying her enough to quit her day job? Like,
Oh, and she's still actively doing it, like?
yeah.
Oh, what the fuck?
Like, she's taking clients. Like, I think
Jesus. That's mad. Well, yeah, they're putting it across that way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so. But as well, another thing I wanted to talk about, not to shit, I really loved that match. And when that match came on, I'm like, AEW 1 hour 2. Between that and the 6-man, AEW kicked their ass in the second hour. Like, it was a much the better show. But there was one thing that's just unfortunate. Tony Schiavone and JR, great to hear them back on. They've established voices. It's nice to hear them back. They may need sensitivity training. And maybe this was just dictated towards them, but I didn't like the way they constantly kept calling Nyla Rose the Beast. I'm like, there's a lot going on there with like the whole trans thing and stuff like that. You know, you want to be sensitive around that. You want to pronouns, lads, and all of that. You got to be on point with it. Like, it just comes across as like, just stay away from all that side. You don't need to be like, she's different. Look how different she is. You know what I mean? It's like, it's the opposite of what you're going for.
unless that's maybe a nickname she's pushing. You know, she might have given
maybe
them
she's
commentary
pushed them.
notes.
But
Yeah.
I thought the whole point is that she's like a monster. Is that not the point?
I don't think you want to push the first trans person on a major scale as, like, in those terms.
What?
A monster.
Well,
I just think that
she's a tank, though.
That to me is insensitive and unfortunate.
Don't.
No,
I'm not trying to be woke or anything. I'm not trying to be woke because, like, whatever. Like, I wasn't personally offended by it, but I'm just like, if it was fucking Corey Graves, or even if it was Excalibur saying it, but I'm very conscious that they're older men talking about a trans woman, you know, and I'm like, they're probably not going to be great at this, and then they're like, she's so beastly, isn't she? And it's just like, it's just, just stay away. Just leave it. Just leave it, lads.
I see where you're coming from, but I actually don't have a problem with Tony Schiavone because he was great all out your commentary, whereas JR had a lot of bad comments. Like, I think it was, I haven't even seen the match yet, but on their dark show, I think it's called, where they had the women's tag, and apparently one of his comments was, "Oh, she's got a lot of strength for her gender," and I mean that respectfully. What the fuck does that mean?
You can't say something disrespectful. That's right.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
I mean it respectfully now. But like, she's got a lot of strength for her gender. She's in an all-female tag. You could just say she's the strongest person in the match or something.
Yeah.
But to bring gender into it?
Actually, if she was wrestling a man, then it'd be relevant. But like,
Or if she was like in a scramble.
The proportions are there, like where,
where maybe it's relevant.
She's just strong, like
weak women aren't as strong as the big strong men. I don't mean in a bad way.
It's not. I'm not criticizing Schiavone here. Again, I thought it was really refreshing hearing them, but it's just again because they're older men.
But what do you want them to say though?
I just say like Nyla Rose is a great wrestler. You don't need to go anywhere near.
So she shouldn't have any like character depth.
She can have a character depth, but her character doesn't have to be defined by her like her trans. Like,
but it's not. It's about her being strong.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's going to hinge on the fact whether she embraces that as a nickname or a character. If she does, it's fine.
Yeah.
If she doesn't, if they're just looking at her and choosing to call her the Beast, then it might be.
Yeah, if it makes her uncomfortable, that's fair. But like, I've no reason to believe that.
I know we don't. To be fair, but again, it was just on the nose. If it was a young commentary team, I'd be like, she's obviously going with that. But because it's an older commentary team,
you're being ageist. You're assuming they're like that.
JR is like that because we've just established.
Not
I can also first-hand information. He is absolutely like that. Absolutely.
But like, yeah. So they are. We know JR is like that. So it's just like
JR thinks I'm a beast. He told me to my face. Nyla Rose is bigger than me.
True.
Just a side note. Just a side note. Maybe worth watching out for in the next few weeks. Maybe it'd be nothing. Maybe it'd be something. Sorry.
Yeah. So I like obviously the main event. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
I love Moxley and Omega and heads being smashed through glasses. And
that was cool.
Shit like that.
Cool spot.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I like how they're taking Sammy Guevara seriously. I think he's fucking deadly. Cool to see him getting his moment, and I liked the Jack Swagger thing mainly because, well, it's not Jack Swagger, it's Jake Hager, but for me, yeah, because Jack Swagger is a lot with the lisp, that like little nerd, you know what I mean, from like a decade ago. Yeah. Jake Hager he looks a lot better now. He looks a lot more of a tank, but I feel like Lucha Underground played a massive part in that. See, I don't look at him and see Jack Swagger anymore. I look at him and think that savage Jake Strong that ripped that luchador's fucking leg off and crushed ankles in Lucha Underground. Do you know what I mean? So I think that helped a lot. If it wasn't for his run in Lucha Underground, I'd feel a bit odd about this. I don't know. I wouldn't really be that into it. Like,
yeah, I get that.
But it's interesting. It got people talking. It's not like it's not like he can't wrestle or anything. It's not a huge detriment to the show.
No, it's not bad at all. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't slating him. Like,
yeah, you were. You're like that shit.
If anything, I was saying I liked his Lucha Underground stuff, and I would love if everyone was hyped up for it. But I was pointing out the lack of consistency in both.
You literally said, "I'm never watching AEW ever again because of Jack Swagger and I hate him."
You did. You're right.
You did rewind
you're
that.
Right. You're right.
No, but I liked it. The whole show is pretty good. Like, I'm not. Like I might not seem as enthusiastic as
You've blown your load with it.
Yeah. But it is good. For me now, Thursday as well, it's so, oh my god, how handy is this? My day off in college is Thursday. The convenience of that. I get to wake up every Thursday with a fat tube of Pringles in hand. And I get to watch
Wake up?
It feels like you've slept with the Pringles. Just preparing for Thursday morning. So you can just roll over immediately and just tip them into your mouth.
Gotta cut out that travel time to the kitchen. Killing you.
Oh, I don't leave Pringles in the kitchen. They stay in my room. Why would I, in the kitchen?
Someone might eat them.
Yeah, because in the kitchen, if something's in the kitchen, I assume it's for everyone. Yeah. Whereas these aren't for everyone; they're mine. You know. Anyway, not relevant to what we're talking about.
I do keep a jar of Nutella in my locker where Phil can't get it. He doesn't even eat Nutella. I just don't want to take chances.
But yeah, so like now every Thursday is like it's almost like pay-per-view worthy. Nice. It's like it's because they're competing head to head. They're going to be doing mad shit.
Yeah.
So, it's so cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's like an extra day. Do you ever have those days where you wake up and you check Reddit? I don't know if you're a big Reddit person, but you check Reddit and it's like Raw spoiler, SmackDown spoiler, and it's like, that means shit's gone down.
Yeah.
Now there's another day of that, because obviously when NXT was taped, that never happened, because that would happen after it was taped. And by the time it aired, you'd be like, okay, so you know, kind of all the big shit that happens. Whereas now it's like, ooh, you know what I mean? And it's another show on top of that. It's so cool. So cool. I can't wait for tomorrow. Not even next week. Tomorrow.
Tonight. It's on tonight. Yeah. There you go. It all starts again.
I feel like you two are just going to start cheering. They're like, oi, oi,
oi. Guys, amazing. We're going to be back next week to discuss it. In the meantime, we have a draft to do on our Low Blows this week to match the SmackDown draft. This week, we are going to be doing the Low Blows draft where we're going to be picking our own teams, and we're going to be following them, wins and losses throughout the year. So stay tuned for that on Friday. In the meantime, guys, I know this is where you guys usually do your plugs, but I've actually I've got a booking. I know, weird. I'm going to be at a show on
DCW
Sunday.
Is back.
They couldn't afford me. No, but unfortunately, NLW could. No Limit Wrestling. I'm going to be hosting the show this Sunday, but don't let that put you off. It's going to be a great night anyway. This Sunday afternoon, I was talking to Jamie there earlier. He said there's around 25 tickets available left, so it's going to be a great show. It's going to be packed out. 2 p.m. doors open, so it's an afternoon show, much like OTT Contenders, except it's in Kildare. It's in the Moat Theatre, which is nice and handy to get there as well if you're looking there from Dublin. There's free parking there as well, Jamie was telling me, and there's a handy bus from Dublin if you want to head out. On the night, we're going to be having Darren Carney, the NLW champion, not that one, the other one, defending against Paul Tracy. And a lot of people have been asking me what I think about this match. It's going to be good. Yep, there you go. Expect more of that hosting on Sunday. Also, LJ Cleary and Amy Alonzi try to become the first intergender tag team champions.
That is a fucking deadly team, apparently. Like, I want to see that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I'm not booked. That's not me. Like, that's not like ad talk. That's like legit. Like, I actually do want to see that.
The first intergender tag team champions as well. Can they do it? First time ever in Ireland. If they do, but they might not. As well though. So there's that. Also on the show, More Than Hype, Sammy D, Justy, and and much more.
Justy, that was a weekly Justy mention.
Justy Saturday in the Moat Theatre. Tickets, like I said, limited tickets. There's only around 25 left, so and they're all assigned as well. So if you want to go with your mates, make sure you book now on moattheatre.com. It's going to be something completely different, a bit of fun. Like I said, an OTT contender show, but like get to travel for the day, something completely different, and yeah, it's going to be great, guys. What have you got? Anything coming up on YouTube?
Yeah. Well, what day is it now?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. So like, hopefully by Tuesday I'll have something. It's basically it's like the Raw Roulette. Do you remember the Raw Roulette?
Yeah.
You spin the wheel and it chooses stipulation. But what if that Raw Roulette chose everything? Like it chose the wrestlers, it chose all the matches that were happening on the night, and it was every single week, and that was it. Every match was decided by the Raw Roulette. How do you think it would go?
I feel like this will go
amazing.
Where there'll be a lot of Eric Rowan.
No, because it's a roulette, so I can't like.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's 200 and something wrestlers in WWE.
Okay.
Yeah, I learned that from happening. I had to add them all up and be like, right, and then spin like, because I had to like, I was a pain in the arse to make. I'm not gonna lie, I had to like put them all in the wheel, and like. There's only so many places on the wheels. I had to make a wheel to decide which wheel to spin. I didn't put this in the video because it's not very exciting stuff. I had to like spin a wheel to decide which of the 3 wheels to spin. To decide, like, and I have to divide them all evenly as well. I'm like,
Here's a question: do you apply yourself like that in college?
No.
Check that out on Corporate Kids YouTube channel. Katie, just 2 weeks away from the big comeback.
Yeah, I'm just still preparing. Trying to train and not die.
Yeah.
Ring cardio is real.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you feeling it now?
Yeah, because I'm doing more. Like I'm doing a lot of training down the gym with the lads, and yeah, it's going well. My elbows haven't disintegrated yet, so that's a good sign.
That's always a positive.
Always positive.
Keep us updated on them elbows. We will talk to you more as the big comeback gets closer. Remember, OTT 5th anniversary tickets still on sale in the National Stadium, October 26th.
What if you come out to do your entrance, and you're just like, come on! And
do
like
Sami Zayn?
And your elbow falls off. No, it's like falls off. Not even like it pulls or twists, it just falls completely off.
I've thought about this.
And
like knowing my luck.
But what do you do in that situation?
I'll fight with one arm.
No, but like your arm fell off. That's the point.
Oh, my arm fell off.
Yeah,
well,
fell off.
probably have to stop the match.
That's pussy shit, man. That's like, you think Valkyrie would stop the match if it happened to her? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't know.
Find out if Katie's arms fall off on OTT's 5th anniversary.
I know, but you know what? I had a real thing happen this week where my elbows were really sore, and I thought it was from overtraining. And I was talking to a lady down the gym, and she'd had a similar injury, and she also had a hip replacement. And she's like, "Oh no, love, that's just the cold." And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Yeah, when you have like kind of joint surgery or replacements and all that, she's like, the cold's going to affect you." And I was like, "Shit. This is the reason. I'm not overtraining. I'm not hardy. It's just a bit cold. And now my elbows hurt."
Imagine you were overtraining and she was wrong. Oh.
Giving her anxiety. That's actually mean. That is cyberbully, right? Cyberbully.
Wait, are you sitting at the stage for the stadium?
I might be front row. I'm in those like stage.
Your
seats.
elbows just fall off and you just hear kids.
The whole place goes silent and they just look over and me with like Katie's like elbow in my hand like
Valkyrie, hit her with this.
Guys, we are out of time. Back next week with more wrestling chat. But until then, for Corporate Keith, for Katie Harvey, I've been Rick Nash, and that's the bottom line. Because Lobo said so.
You're all getting fucked in that draft.